I stood by the dining table, the heavy aroma of my freshly prepared jollof rice filling the room. My husband, Tunde, and his brother, Kunle, were already halfway through their plates, their voices loud and full of mischief. They were speaking in Yoruba again. Kunle leaned back, slapping the table as he laughed. "She still thinks she's the smartest person in this house," he said in their native tongue. Tunde didn't even look up as he replied, "Leave her. She can't understand a single word." I smiled at them, placed the plantain on the table, and walked back to the kitchen. They thought Yoruba protected their secrets. They had no idea it was exposing every single one of them. My name is Adaeze Okafor, and this is how my secret became my greatest weapon. Lagos is a city of millions, a place where people from all over Nigeria come to build their dreams. I came here from Abuja, an accountant ready to make my mark. I never expected that my biggest challenge wouldn't be in a boardroom, but in my own home. I met Tunde 3 years ago at a church youth conference. He was a civil engineer, charming, well-spoken, and seemingly the kind of man every woman prays for. He wasn't the loudest, but he had a way of making you feel like the only person in the room. Our first date was at a small cafe in VI. He spent 2 hours telling me about his dreams for the future and asking about mine. He seemed genuinely interested in my life, my career, and my Igbo heritage. By the time the bill came, I was already falling. The courtship was perfect. Tunde was romantic, always remembering the little things. He'd surprise me with my favorite snacks after a long day at work and call me just to hear my voice. To everyone else, we were the it couple. When he proposed, I didn't hesitate for a second. I said yes with tears in my eyes, believing I had finally found my partner for life. His family appeared just as welcoming, especially his mother, Mrs. Adebayo. Our wedding was a grand affair, the union of an Igbo bride and a Yoruba groom. Everyone danced, everyone celebrated. "You're our daughter now," Mrs. Adebayo whispered to me as she hugged me tightly. I believed every word. But there was one thing nobody in the Adebayo family knew. You see, during my 4 years at Unilag, I lived with 3 of the most amazing Yoruba roommates. We were so close that their language became mine. I learned it naturally, every proverb, every slang, every nuance. We spent nights talking about boys, exams, and life. They spoke Yoruba to each other constantly, and slowly, I started joining in. By my senior year, I could understand almost everything, even though I rarely spoke it fluently myself. I kept it as a little secret. When I met Tunde, I thought it would be a wonderful surprise. I imagined waiting for a big family gathering, then casually answering a question in perfect Yoruba. I pictured the shock on his face, the laughter, the pride. I thought it would be a beautiful memory. I was so wrong. The first time it happened was just months after the wedding. We were at his parents' house for Sunday lunch. Kunle, Tunde's younger brother, arrived with his usual sarcasm. He looked at me, then leaned toward Tunde and switched to Yoruba. "See how she dressed today," he whispered. Tunde laughed and shook his head. "Don't mind her. She thinks this Lagos fashion is for everybody." They both snickered right in front of me. My heart skipped a beat. I understood every word, but I kept my face neutral, pretending to be the clueless wife they expected. I felt a sharp sting in my chest. It wasn't just the joke. It was the ease with which my husband joined in. I wanted to believe it was a one-time thing, a moment of brotherly bonding that went too far. But it was only the beginning. They started mocking my accent when I spoke English, my cooking when I made ofe akwu, and even my family back in the East. They did it all in Yoruba, convinced that their language was a vault I could never crack. And every time, I smiled and nodded, gathering my strength. As the months went by, the conversations became more serious. I overheard Tunde telling Kunle how he had lent a large sum of money to a friend without telling me. Money from our joint savings. "She's an accountant, but she's not counting this one," Tunde joked in Yoruba. Kunle roared with laughter. Then came the day Kunle insulted my parents. He called them greedy in Yoruba, suggesting they only wanted Tunde for his engineering salary. Tunde didn't defend them. He just sighed and said, "It's true, but she's a good wife, so I'll bear it." I had to grip the car door handle to keep from shaking. I realized then that my marriage was built on a foundation of lies and a lack of respect. Tunde didn't love me for who I was. He loved the version of me that he could control and mock. I was waiting for the right moment, and soon it arrived in the form of a land scheme. Mrs. Adebayo, my mother-in-law, wanted the ancestral land in her village to remain strictly under Adebayo control. She didn't want any outsider, meaning me, to have a claim to it. She pressured Tunde to get me to sign away my rights without me realizing what I was doing. Tunde agreed. I overheard them planning to slip the documents into a pile of work papers for me to sign. "She trusts you too much," Kunle said in Yoruba. "She'll just sign whatever you put in front of her." Tunde smiled and replied, "Exactly. She thinks I'm her hero." That night, while Tunde was in the shower, I found the folder. I didn't say a word. I just took out my phone and photographed every single page of the property transfer agreement. I had all the evidence I needed. Now, I just needed the right stage. The stage was Tunde's 35th birthday party. It was a massive celebration at the family compound. Everyone was there, relatives, friends, neighbours, even Chief Adebayo, his father, who was always a man of integrity. The atmosphere was festive, full of rice, suya and small chops. In the middle of the party, Kunle leaned in and whispered to Tunde in Yoruba, "Today's the day we get the signature. The clueless Igbo girl won't know what hit her." They both laughed, thinking they were invisible behind their language wall. That was it. I had heard enough. I stood up, clinked my glass with a spoon, and the entire room fell silent. Tunde smiled at me, expecting a sweet birthday toast. "I have a few words to say," I began in English. Then I took a deep breath and shifted. I switched to perfect, fluent Yoruba. "I want to thank my husband and his brother for their entertaining conversations over the last 2 years," I said. The shock in the room was electric. Tunde's glass nearly slipped from his hand. Kunle looked like he wanted the ground to swallow him. I repeated every insult, every joke about my family, and every mocking comment about my dress. I spoke about the money Tunde had hidden and the insults he had let Kunle hurl at my parents. The relatives were gasping, whispering to each other in shock. Then I brought out my phone and showed the photos of the land documents to Chief Adebayo. I explained their plan to trick me into signing away my rights. "You thought my trust was a weakness," I said in Yoruba, looking Tunde in the eye. "But it was your own arrogance that blinded you." Chief Adebayo was furious. He lashed out at his sons for their lack of honor and respect. Mrs. Adebayo was in tears, trying to beg for my forgiveness. But I wasn't there for an apology. I was there to reclaim my dignity. The party was over, and so was the version of my marriage they thought they controlled. The problem wasn't Tunde and Kunle speaking Yoruba. It was their belief that respect somehow disappears when you think someone doesn't understand your words. Betrayal doesn't need a specific language. It only needs a lack of character, and eventually, character always reveals itself. We went into counselling. It was a long, painful road. Tunde had to earn back every ounce of trust he had burned. I set clear boundaries with Kunle and Mrs. Adebayo. I realized that a marriage can only survive if both people are seen and heard in every language. People reveal their true character when they think no one understands them. If this story made you think, let me know in the comments what you would have done in my position. Would you have confronted him sooner? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you in the next story.